a federal judge in Florida struck down the federal mask mandate on public transit travel. So not just public transit, but large scale transit like airplanes, buses, trains, etc. This was just a few days after the CDC had extended that same mask mandate through May 3rd, as we've been seeing an increase of COVID cases in many pockets of the country, the Northeast, New York City being one of those pockets. The decision said that individual airlines will get to make this decision. Companies can decide what they want to do. The judge is problematic, and we'll get to her in a minute, but here's some footage compiled by the Wall Street Journal of the jubilant passengers removing their masks, sometimes in the middle of a flight, when they got this news via workers on the airplane, etc.
Yes! Couldn't help but notice a few people still wearing their masks in that.
Oh video. Yeah, there's a few Twitter threads of people who were in the middle of that getting announced, like, I am doubling down on this K95, etc. But continue.
If you choose to, you may remove your mask.
Woo!
If you remain concerned, if you're compromised, you certainly can keep your mask on.
Can you put? Yeah, that's not how it works. Your mask does help protect you, especially if it's an N95, KN95, etc. But the masking of other people is what is going to also help protect you. That is primarily the purpose of masking on public transport.
I mean, truly one of the stupidest things I've seen in my lifetime is all the people that pretended like this was like facing Orwellian style or Brave New World style tyranny.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is like what it looks like for that Berlin Wall to fall, is the pilot saying, yeah, you can take your mask down. If you're immunocompromised, just, stay masked up. Good for you. Good luck. Like,
it's a historic moment, Matt. I don't know why you're
it's
downplaying
just,
it.
I mean, it's really like Juneteenth all over again.
Oh, jeez. Keep going.
The CDC continues recommending wearing a mask in public transit.
So, I mean, you couldn't read all the text there, but essentially that was Jen Psaki responding to it. They are disappointed in the decision, they say, and they're going to be looking into whether or not the DOJ might appeal. But I'm not so sure they will, because that Wall Street Journal, if you're listening on the podcast, kind of video that had some captions in it was mentioning how airline industry groups have been lobbying for this for quite a while. And that is the case. As soon as this decision was handed down, all of the airlines were like, yes, optional. We want to attract as many customers as possible. I mean, I would be very fearful for their employees who have to interact with a bunch of people, hundreds of people, sometimes on a daily basis on separate flights, especially if you're a flight attendant. But, I mean, more power to the executives who are happy to put their employees in harm's way, even though we did see in some of those videos, some employees, I'm sure, are going to be happy about this because it's cumbersome, fine, understandable. It's a difficult part of one's profession.
It sucks to wear a mask, but it's not dying.
It's not dying, right. It is for public good. But now on to this this judge who made the decision, because I think this is important. Here's from Rolling Stone. Trump-appointed judge deemed, quote, not qualified by Bar Association voids mask mandate on planes and other travel. This woman is really just skyrocketed to the top. A Trump-appointed federal judge in Florida has voided a national mask mandate for airplanes and other transportation. Wearing a mask cleans nothing, U.S. District Judge Catherine Kimball Mizell wrote in her decision on Monday. At most, it traps virus droplets, but it neither sanitizes the person wearing the mask nor sanitizes the conveyance. right? I'm not saying that
Conveyance?
right. Conveyance. That is not the standard. I did not realize there was some sort of judicial standard on total and complete sanitization in order to meet some sort of public health criteria. No, it is one method that helps protect people who are traveling on airplanes and other transportation. It helps other people when everyone has to comply, and it helps oneself if you are wearing a mask.
It's a mitigation measure, albeit a meager one, which means we should be doing a whole lot else on top of it.
Yeah.
But it is one that, it's valuable.
They treat it as a zero-sum game, and it's like this straw man that is in order to just discredit public health officials, and just because they feel mildly uncomfortable in masks. Mizelle, 35, was only 8 years out of law school at the University of Florida when Trump appointed her to a lifetime position in 2020. The Daily Beast noted at the time that her only trial experience was as an intern, and that she held 4 clerkships, including one for Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Mizelle was rated, quote, not qualified by the American Bar Association prior to her appointment, citing her lack of experience. So, I mean, just another case of the Trump administration not giving an F and stacking these courts with complete political activists, and it's smart for their purposes, because I don't think the Biden administration is going to have the gumption to have the DOJ try to appeal this. They see COVID as a political liability. That's why at the State of the Union, no one was wearing a mask. That's why Biden was leading applause lines about COVID being over. This is something they perceive as a political liability, so they are going to sacrifice public health. And let's be clear, it's the conservatives and the Republicans who are leading the charge here. Yeah. But the Biden administration is going to be too cowardly, this is my guess, to actually do anything aggressively about this.
So all the people were saying, you're just fear-mongered about COVID. You're getting what you want. Good job.
The Senate voted last month to overturn the public health order requiring masks on airplanes and public transit. And as the Post points out, 21 states, most of which are led by Republicans, sued the government seeking to end the mask mandate. CEOs from airline companies have also urged Biden to lift the mandate. Maybe these airlines can actually start to hire people back and use the government bailout money that they received, so that the customer experience is like actually a usable one that functions in society, regardless of the masking, right? Where your flights aren't being canceled all over because these companies are too greedy to actually hire people back to fill the new traffic that is coming through as people begin to travel more.
Yeah, and the thing about like letting this decision go up to the airlines, the problem with that is the problem you had in when states took this with this tack with restaurants. Any restaurant can decide if they want to do masks or not. Then like the problem is you have to enforce that, and then it's on the restaurants individually to enforce that. So you put in more of those workers even more on the front line of somebody saying, hey, Bennigan's didn't require me to wear a mask. Why is TGI Fridays? And I'm going to get in your face about it.
Yep.
So like good luck to thinking that this is going to lead to a better customer experience. It's going to lead to more infections, and hopefully that some of the airlines continue to enforce it.
They're not. Basically, none of them did. To your point, in response, they all it was all a race to be the most anti-mask, because they perceive it as a way that something cumbersome on the customer, and that they want to drive up their profits more, and that people don't want to fly because of it.
Yeah, if you're at risk, don't fly. We'll make it up with the people that don't care about you.